is part 10 and the final instalment in my Sami Smith, Tony Dodge series. So if you've not looked at any of the other ones in this series, I've broken down the entire Tony Dodge interview and done a real thorough analysis of the things Sami said, and in some instances looked at her body language and also done comparisons with clips from other news interviews and stuff like that. So if you are interested, there is a playlist called the Sami Files, I believe, which will have the entire 10 Sami videos in there, as well as a bunch of other Sami videos that I've done previously. So let's jump in and look at the final installment of this series.
I don't know. Is anything else you'd like to say before we let you go? I know you're busy. I don't want to keep you tied up with us, but I greatly appreciate all your time. Sami, you're an amazing girl. I know you got a great future ahead of you. Stay strong. What's your final words? If Sami's out there watching this right now, just perhaps she's out there watching. If there's anything you could say to Sami right now, what would you say to her?
It's Kylie, just by the way, but if Kylie's out there watching
I'm sorry, Kylie, I meant.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Don't worry.
My mind's going 1,000 miles an hour. It's just, this is very emotional,
Yeah.
But no, I'm sorry, Kylie.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's totally fine. If Kylie were out here watching this, I would just want to know we are doing everything to try and find her. We are making this go worldwide. We will find her. We will find what is happening, and we just want her home. We don't want to get anybody in trouble. We just want her home. We love her, and we would do anything to see her again.
Now, he's asked her what she would like Kylie to know if Kylie were listening. Now, you would expect if it was someone who was Kylie's friend. Like, for example, we had Mag saying, I just want her to be okay. You would expect to hear an I statement. You would expect that personal pronoun there. I want her to be okay. I want her to come home. I really miss her. But none of that here from Sami. It's all about what we are doing. We are doing everything. And you know that she's already, earlier in this interview, included herself as part of the investigation. So here, it comes across as her speaking on behalf of the investigation, not on behalf of Sami Smith. We are doing everything. We are making this go worldwide. We will find her and we will find out what is happening. We just want her home. Not Sami. Sami hasn't said, I want her home. I just really want to see her again. And then we don't want to get anybody in trouble. I love how she has to throw that in. She seems to throw this in any opportunity she can find. We don't want to get anybody into trouble. And that is a statement that has been made by law enforcement. But we also know that she's made comments like, I will take your name to jail with me. So it seems to be very important to her to get this message through that nobody's going to get into trouble. Is this her hoping that she's not going to get into trouble? Or is this her just kind of reminding people that she's calling the shots because otherwise they might get into trouble? And then other things like, we just want her home. We love her. We would do anything. There's nothing there that indicates any sort of emotional connection between Sami and Kylie. And note too, when she said all this, there were pauses in between. This wasn't a part of her rehearsed narrative. So she's winging it as she goes along. She has to figure out what is the right thing to say here. What is the expected thing for her to say here? But she forgot that the expected thing here is for it to be talking about her perspective. What she personally wants to tell her friend who is missing. Her friend who she is supposed to be worried about. Who she doesn't know where she is. But none of that.
And I personally, I just want to drink a boba with her again and laugh and tell the story. And
now this is one of those lost pieces of media, so help me out here. But I do recall there was a conversation at one stage where Sami was saying that she'd been overseas and that she got back to Truckee and she went to the place where Kylie worked and had a bobo tea and had a conversation with Kylie about her holiday. Presumably that is what she's saying when she says, and tell the story. And I'm wondering, is this like one of the very rare interactions that Sami has ever had with Kylie prior to this party? It's a pretty mundane interaction to have gone into someone's workplace and had a bobo tea and probably had a bit of a conversation with them. There's nothing really deep and meaningful to me. It just seems like someone grasping for some sort of interaction that they can throw out there to try and give the impression that they do have a connection with this person that they are suddenly claiming to be a really, really close friend.
when I see her, I'm going to absolutely tackle her to the ground, but I'm going to give her the most love that she's ever felt. And
even now, when I hear that, I still get really strong Chris Watts vibes. I'd like to know what everyone else thinks, but for me, definitely mega Chris Watts vibes. And I believe there is a video in my playlist from months and months and months ago where I did do a comparison following in the footsteps of What's the Obsession. She's also done a comparison and hers was pretty good. So there are two videos there that if you're interested are worth looking at. But definitely that whole definitely Watts vibes there.
I hope she knows she's loved. This whole community is looking for her. The whole world at this point is looking for Kylie.
So after doing her little bit of acting there, she's reverted back to talking about a we. It's no longer about Sami and Kylie anymore. The whole world is looking for Kylie. It's no longer about, and she's loved. Not, I love her, I adore her, anything like that, but she's loved. So she's gone straight back to the very broad general comments that don't show any personal connection to Kylie. And note through all this, there's been no sign of emotion in her face. She is reciting her own little narrative. She's saying what she believes is expected of her. That is what I think. I don't get any sense of genuineness in what she is saying here.
Kylie, if you're out there and you can hear this, please fight. Keep fighting. Don't give up. We are coming. We are working. We will not stop working. I will stay up day and night. I have her completely.
I will stay up day and night. That's not even convincing. Have you ever heard anyone who's pleading for someone that's missing turn around and say, I will stay up day and night till they come home? No, they will say, they might say, I will do everything in my power to try and find them, but not I will stay up day and night. It's just an over dramatisation, and here she is trying to sound like she really, really cares. But all the bits before that were the we statements again. And then she comes out with that weird comment, I have her. And whatever she was going to say there, she stops herself. And you actually see her open and close her mouth. And nothing comes out. Because she's either realised that she's got no idea what she's trying to say here in this narrative, and that she's run out of ideas to sound like she genuinely cares and like she is actually pleading, or because I have her was the beginning of saying something that she probably should not have said, and she's realised that and stopped, and her mouth has kept moving, but there's no sound because her brain has slammed on the brakes. It is a really, really curious part of this entire interview, and it does baffle me. Like I said, I feel that this whole part of the interview is a major performance for Sami. This is her grand performance. But she's forgotten that she's meant to be making it sound personal. And then she comes out with, I have her, and gets stuck. I'd love to know what other people think about that particular phrase, where she was headed with it. Do you think she was just trying to grandstand, trying to put on her grand performance, and then ran out of a script to use? Or do you think that she stopped herself because she nearly said something that she wasn't supposed to say?
We want you home. We just want you home.
And again, straight back to the we statements. We want you home. We just want you home. We don't know what Sami wants because Sami hasn't really told us, other than she wants to drink a bobo tea with Kylie, which is hardly any wonderful bonding experience.
And yeah.
And yeah, she's totally tapped. She's run out of things to say. She's forgotten to talk about her own personal feelings. She's not once said that she's scared for Kylie, that she's worried. She's frightened that she might never see her friend again. It's all just been one big performance, all about the we statements and the bobo tea. And now she's just ground to a halt because she's got nothing personal, nothing emotional to tap into. So she's run out of ideas.
Very, very good, Sami. I'm so sorry that you're going through this. I'm so sorry the family's going through this. I greatly appreciate your time. You're a beautiful person. You're a beautiful friend. I know you got a bright future ahead of you. Stay strong. Keep doing what you're doing. I mean, you're getting it out there, and I'm just so impressed with you. I'm sure your parents are very proud, and they raised you right. So
this is her face when he's saying, I'm sure your parents are very proud and they've raised you right. She looks like there is something really bad smelling in front of her. She certainly doesn't feel proud in any way. There's no smile. There's no sense of, yeah, I've done my best to make my parents proud. No, it's that Sami look. She's done nothing to make her parents proud, in my opinion. And I believe she knows that. And I can't comment on how they've raised her because I don't know how they've raised her. But if they've put in the work to try and raise a respectable young lady, it hasn't worked. And the look on her face there is certainly not a look of, yes, I'd like to think that my parents are watching this right now and are feeling proud of me. There's nothing that would indicate that at all in her expression here.
Thank you
All right.
so much.
Sammy.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. You take care. And thank you once again for allowing us to have you.
Of
All
course.
right.
Thank you for helping cover this.
So that's it. We've reached the end. I had to leave in that last bit where he said about her parents because I thought that was telling to see her reaction. I'm not going to go through a lengthy review of the entire interview. I don't think that's necessary because I have gone so deep into each of the statements she's made. But I'm just going to say my overall observation is one where I see plenty of red flags in the things that she is saying. There are some things that are truly concerning. And there's a lot of instances where she just seems to be acting. So while I did strongly disagree with the deception detective when he tried to say that Sami was totally innocent and that she did nothing wrong and she was just a bit of a narcissist who liked the attention, I will say that regardless of her role in what happened to Kylie, she's definitely someone who loves the attention. And we've seen that. And I think there are parts of this interview where she is playing a role. She's got this persona in her head and she's playing that role. She's not being genuine. But I think we can all agree she was never a friend to Kylie. And she really doesn't seem that invested in actually finding Kylie. She seems far more invested in shutting up people who might talk, in getting hold of any incriminating videos and photos, and in putting out a narrative that makes her sound like she was far away when Kylie went missing. My opinion of Sami has not changed from watching these. I still look at her as number one suspect in this case. At the very least, she knows a hell of a lot about what happened that night at that party. But she's lying to us. Figuring out what is the truth and what is lies, that's the challenge. So thanks for listening. Please hit the like. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. And please leave a comment below. Let me know your thoughts.
Together, look in the mirror, tell myself you doing better. Yeah. Ooh, oh, oh, yeah. Oh no, oh, oh. Stars in the sky make me think about you. The love in my eyes get you tell it's all for you. Loyalty in my blood, I will never fool on you. Put your trust in me, and I'll put my love in you. Okay, baby, it's just us in this world. Nobody can change that. Hey, we gon' fuck up and